Hey, what's up? My name is Vincent Williams. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Oh. Thank you so much for coming over to my YouTube channel. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to spend some time with you today. Um, I suppose you are looking for a solution to lose weight. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you what you can do, what you don't have to do, but what you can do to lose weight almost like on autopilot. Of course, there is going to be some effort involved. Of course, you're going to put in the work, but it's going to be worth it if you really want to lose weight. Now, I myself have struggled with losing weight for quite a while when I was a little bit younger, and I was very desperate to find a solution for this problem, for this desire almost like. And thankfully, after a lot of researching, after a lot of um, you know forcing through the woods of information, I was able to find something. And I was able to find the truth, thankfully, because I tried it myself. I have gained some experience myself, and I'm able to give you a very simple solution. And I hope you're going to benefit from this solution. I hope you're going to benefit from all of this. I do this for you. This video is not going to be very long. It's not going to, cover a lot of information, but it's going to give you just some impulses so you can start your journey. I'm just here to guide you. So first of all, losing weight is definitely one of the simplest things ever. Yeah, it's easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. Excuse me. It's simple, but it's not easy. If you want to lose weight, you'll have to put in some work. Of course, good things usually take some time, and losing weight is definitely something that is going to cost you some of your effort and time. But if you're going to cultivate some discipline, and if you're going to follow these simple strategies, I'm sure you'll lose weight and you'll be able to get to where you want to be. So losing weight is simple, and it's definitely easier than building muscle. So that's the first thing that I want you to know. Now, the simple truth behind everyone who has lost some pounds, lost some kilograms, is that we need to be in a caloric deficit, all right? So if we want to lose weight, we have to put ourselves in a situation where our body is burning more energy than we consume, all right? So we get energy by eating food. Now, when we eat food, our body's digesting that food and able to use that energy that we got from that food. Now, when we stop eating so much, or you can still eat a lot, but when we stop eating those high calorie dense foods and focus more on foods that are going to keep us, satisfied for a longer period of time, and foods that actually are nourishing us, um, we'll be in a situation where our body is able to, you know, build off that fat storage that it had. All right. So a caloric deficit is really the key behind every single successful diet. All right. So choose a caloric deficit between 300 and 700 calories a day. 700 calories a day. All right. Now, if you're just starting out with your diet, I would recommend you to eat around 700 calories less than you are right now. Well, that's not exactly true. That's not essentially true. What's true is that you have a maintenance calorie. You have maintenance calories. You have a calorie surplus, and you have a specific caloric deficit that you have to be in order to either build muscle or gain weight, maintain your weight, or lose weight. All right. So if we want to build muscle or just gain fat or whatever we want to do, we have to be in a caloric surplus. If we want to maintain or body weight, if we want to maintain our body stature, we have to be around our maintenance calories. So we have to eat as much as we burn, as much as we, you know, as much as we burn. Exactly. I mean, if you're eating 3,000 calories right now and you're not gaining weight, not losing weight, that's your maintenance calories. That's it. You're basically eating as much as you need to maintain your weight. And if you want to lose weight, you simply have to eat a little bit less than your maintenance calories are. You need to eat a little bit less than you need to when you are looking to maintain your weight. That's very simple. And at the beginning of your diet, I would definitely recommend you to go a little bit higher with the caloric deficit. So you can go around 700 calories less than your maintenance calories. But if you want to, you know, stick to your diet and stick to it for a longer period of time, depending on how much weight you want to lose, your diet is going to be longer, and it makes sense to minimize the caloric deficit that you're having, if you have already spent a lot of time dieting. There are also things that you can do during your diet that are very beneficial, like diet breaks or refeed days. Those are really, really good to keep your metabolism high and you know, maintain that hormonal situation that you're having at the beginning of your diet. So refeed days and diet breaks even are a good thing. But overall, start high with your caloric deficit and then decrease your caloric deficit over time. That's very simple. And now the third thing is keeping track of your calories makes a lot of sense. Of course, I mean, right now you might not be counting your calories, and I wouldn't recommend you to do it if your goal is not to really get to a certain point in your physiology. If you don't want to build a lot of muscle, if you don't want to lose a lot of weight, you don't have to track your calories. But if you have a specific goal, like you want to lose 5 pounds in 3 months, for example, or you want to lose 10 kilograms in 3 months, then you have to make sure that you're counting your calories if you want to be on the safe side, because losing weight is just like mathematics. You can calculate a lot, and you can use the science that we have today, the evidence that is behind losing weight today, in order to achieve your goal. But you don't have to. If you are able to eat the same meals over and over again, and if you know the calories of those meals, and if you're able to, you know, find out the calories, the macros, the micronutrients that you have in your 5 or 6 meals that you stick to, you don't have to count calories. You don't have to keep track of your calories because you're already keeping track of your calories. All right. So if you are someone who enjoys a lot of variance, a lot of variety in your nutrition, then keeping track of your calories by counting your calories makes sense. But if you're always eating the same meals, the same breakfast, the same lunch, the same dinner, and you know how many calories and you know of what those meals consist, talking about the macronutrients, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, then you don't have to count your calories because you can simply choose meals that are supporting your goal. All right, so you choose. You choose, definitely. All right, I have 4 steps for you. I have prepared 4 steps for you that you can follow through with ease. With ease. It's really not hard. Once you get used to it, you're going to lose weight almost like on autopilot. All right, so step number 1 would be do intermittent fasting. All right, I plan on making a video about this whole topic in itself because intermittent fasting has so many benefits. Fasting in general has so many benefits. It's really not an accident that God wants us to fast or that He desires us to fast. I mean, there are so many benefits, not only for health, for physical health, but also for mental health and also for spiritual health. So fasting is a great thing. And now, of course, intermittent fasting is not the same as a spiritual fast. Don't confuse these two things. If you are going to do intermittent fasting, you gotta make sure, or you should make sure, that you're not neglecting your spiritual fast. All right. because it's tempting to just do intermittent fasting and then say, hey, I'm skipping breakfast, so I might as well not fast once a week, or 3 days a year or something. Uh, you know, it depends, and it all comes down to you and your spiritual authorities. But after all, intermittent fasting is a great thing. I'm going to go into it a little bit later, and yeah, you can utilize intermittent fasting to reach your goal almost like on autopilot. Step number 2 would be to eat enough protein. All right. Step number 3 is make use of caffeine, and step number 4 is don't go crazy with cardio. All right. Now the reason for that is going to be explained at the end of the video, because this is the last step that I would recommend you to follow through with. All right. Don't go crazy with cardio. So, intermittent fasting. I've already covered a little bit of this topic. Essentially, what it does is it allows you to eat more food at once and therefore have a higher satisfaction. As easy as that. Intermittent fasting, what you're doing is you are sticking to an 8-hour eating window and then to a 16-hour fasting window. All right? So you can choose how many hours you're fasting and how many hours you're eating, basically. But what I would recommend you to just start with is fast for 16 hours and then have an 8-hour eating window. That would be pretty good for your body, and it will definitely give you the benefits of intermittent fasting. So you don't have to fast for 20 hours and then have a 4-hour eating window unless you really want it and can do it, because fasting is never really easy unless you are forgetting to eat. I think we all know this. Sometimes we just forget to eat because we're so caught up with our work, so caught up with the things that we're doing. So in that case, it's easy, but usually it's not so easy. So what I would recommend you is to, for example, have your last meal at 8 p.m. All right, 8 p.m. Have dinner at 8 p.m. and then have your first meal 16 hours later. So at noon. All right, have lunch at noon. I know this sounds interesting, but this is really a good thing because it helps you to be more satisfied when you eat bigger meals. I mean, you're eating bigger meals, therefore you are less hungry, and it helps you to keep track of your calories. I mean, if you're only eating two meals a day, it's way easier to count calories, to count macros. Make sure that you're eating enough greens. Yeah, get your micronutrients in. That's very important. On this channel, if you're going to work with me, you're going to realize that I'm not all about the appearance, the outward appearance. I'm not only about losing weight or building muscle. I'm more so about, being fit in your head, achieving a good state of mental clarity, cognitive function, brain health, brain function. These are things that are really important. These are things that are near and dear to my heart, and intermittent fasting covers a lot of those things. It helps you a whole lot. So yeah, you can decide when you have your last meal. If you have your last meal at, for example, 10 p.m., then just fast until 2 p.m. and have lunch at 2 p.m. And then you can have your last meal at 10 p.m. again, or 9 p.m. and repeat the cycle. It's going to help you to just eat more. Especially, it helps you to not be hungry when you go to bed, because oftentimes I see people dieting. They are, sticking to a caloric deficit and they go hungry to bed, and that's not really a good thing. We want to make sure that our sleep is proper, and that is somewhat, beneficial. I see people going to bed and they don't get much out of those 8 or 7 hours of sleep. So if we can make sure that we go to bed with a full stomach, or at least with some satisfaction, it helps, because oftentimes how you feel is a reflection of your hormonal situation. because your hormones play a big role, especially when you're dieting. All right. So intermittent fasting. Step number 2 is to eat enough protein. Now, eating enough protein has lots of benefits. First of all, it keeps your stomach full. And second of those 2 tips that I'm going to give you is the supportive role when it comes to muscle maintenance. Protein is wonderful because it just keeps you full. I mean, there's not much to say about it. Those amino acids that you're eating when you're eating beef or some meat, some red meat, or when you're eating lentils, for example, those proteins that you get from those sources of food are really, really good when it comes to having a full stomach. So protein keeps your stomach full. I don't want to go deeper into that. And it also helps you to support muscle maintenance. Now, when we are dieting, when we are in a caloric deficit, our bodies are not essentially in a growth mindset, what I like to call it. They're not really in the mindset, in the situation to grow, all right? So if you want to build muscle, you certainly do not want to be in a caloric deficit. You want to make sure that you're in a caloric surplus. You want to eat more than you burn. But when we are in a caloric deficit, we're more so in a catabolic state. All right, so our bodies are our bodies basically yield to the build off of cells. I mean, when we don't eat as much as we used to, our bodies shut down more and more, and they are our muscles are attacked basically, and we want to make sure that we keep our muscles. We want to keep as much muscle mass as possible because muscle mass burns more energy than fat. Even while you're sleeping, you're burning calories because the maintenance of your muscles, of your muscle mass, I mean, it costs a lot of energy. And the currency of energy in our bodies is what we call calories. All right. So if you simple example, the more muscle mass you have, the more you can eat because your muscle mass burns energy. So if you are always looking, so quick anecdote here. When I was like 13 years old, I was kind of into fitness. back then I was really into fitness. I still am. But back then I was really focused on losing weight. And not so much on building muscle, building weight, gaining weight. And the reason for that is, of course, I wanted to be slim. I wanted to be skinny almost like, and I just want to fit into clothes and not so chubby. And therefore, I just wanted to lose weight. And back then I didn't know that my body is not burning so much energy. I mean, if your weight is about, I don't know, 55, 60 kilograms, you're not burning so much energy. But now that I weigh about 80 to 83 kilograms, I'm burning much more energy because the muscle mass is working for me and it allows me to eat more when it comes to a caloric deficit. So I can eat more and still be in a caloric deficit. When it comes to building muscle, it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more difficult because I now have to eat more to build more muscle mass. You see what I mean? So protein just helps us to save that muscle mass that we have already built and keeps our stomachs full and helps us to go to bed and not be hungry. All right, tip number 3 or step number 3 is make use of caffeine. Now this is a very quick tip. Coffee has bitter compounds that suppress our appetite. Especially black coffee is really, really good and great when it comes to suppressing your appetite. What I usually do is I just skip breakfast, all in all. No matter if I'm trying to gain weight or lose weight, I just skip breakfast, and it has so many benefits. I'm currently, as of now, or like in this current moment, I am on an intermittent fasting diet because it helps me to regulate my blood sugars and helps me to be more concentrated and focused throughout the day. And when we eat sugar, it just spikes up, and then our insulin spikes up, our blood sugars spike up, and then they fall down, and we just crash, and we're we're not able to get any work done. So to avoid that, I skip breakfast and instead have a black cup of coffee or a cup of black coffee. All right, so my cup isn't actually black, but the coffee is, and it helps me to be less hungry in the morning and wait for lunch. This is exactly what we want if we're trying to lose weight. All right, and yeah, if we have less appetite, we're going to have less cravings. If we're having less cravings, we're not going to yield to any food. I mean, it's quite logical, it's quite simple, and this helps us to stay in a caloric deficit. Also, I mean, if you don't like coffee, what are you doing? I recently got my AeroPress, and you know what I feel. If you are someone who loves specialty coffee, if you're someone who is into coffee, you know what I'm talking about. I'm really, really satisfied with my AeroPress, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, make use of caffeine. And step number four is, it might be your favorite step. Don't go crazy with cardio. Now, the reason why I left out the word don't go crazy with the cardio, or with that cardio, is because I imagine cardio as a person that you don't want to mess with. It's just not a good idea. All right. So you see, this is cardio. This is a person called cardio, and this person always tries to tell you, hey, come and hang out with me. I'm going to help you to lose weight. I'm going to help you do this and that. But the truth of the matter is that this person is not really interested in you losing weight. All right, let's stop that role play. What I want you to know is that cardio is not essential if you are wanting to lose weight. So you don't need to do cardio to burn fat, but you can. Indeed, you can. If you want to do some cardio, I would recommend you to do it about once a week, not more than twice a week, for about 40 minutes. The reason as to why is simply because cardio has shown many beneficial aspects when it comes to your cardiovascular health. Cardio is great because if we're doing something that is connected to cardio, for example, running on a treadmill, we're automatically breathing more. We're breathing. We're breathing. And this helps the nutrient absorption in our blood. It helps us to, just get our heart rate up. And it's just good for our heart health. It's good for our blood vessels. It's good for the nutrient absorption. So if you can do cardio, then do some. But don't go, mad if you cannot do cardio because you don't like it, or you don't want to do it, or you are not able to do it for some reason. Simply don't do it, and don't feel bad about it. Cardio is not it's just not essential to lose weight, and many people think it is. Many people think, hey, if I want to lose weight, I have to run hours upon hours. But this is simply not true. It's not true. What you really need is a caloric deficit. So you really need to work on what you are doing in the kitchen, because this is where you really are going to see the results, or where you're going to prepare your body for those results to come. But cardio has some benefits. Another reason why we don't want to do cardio, I think I didn't even mention why we don't want to do cardio, or why we don't want to go, as I said, crazy with it. Cardio can increase our appetite and make the whole process of losing weight harder. That's a simple truth. Imagine you're going for a run. Simple example. Imagine you're going for a run and you run about 50 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and you burn about 300 to 400 calories. All right, 300 to 400 calories. That's great. You might even, you may have reached your caloric deficit due to that exercising that you have just completed, right? But what are you doing after you went for your run? Are you eating a yogurt that has 200, 300 calories? Are you craving that extra slice of pizza? I really don't know why people do this, but I see people using cardio as an excuse for eating whatever they want to eat. But it's really hard to burn a lot of calories with simply going on a treadmill. And it's very easy to consume calories. It's easy to consume a lot of calories, right? And you don't have to eat much. You just have to eat a yogurt, a banana, and drink a little bit of your Powerade or Gatorade, and there you go. That's 400 calories. So if you're trying to lose weight, cardio is not the go-to thing. Yeah, like I said, I would recommend you to just focus on your diet, focus on building muscle mass in the gym. That's going to make your dieting a whole lot easier. Focus on building muscle before you make a diet, if you can, before you're trying to lose weight, and yeah, focus on resistance training, weight training, because weight training helps you to lose weight. Weight training has so many benefits, especially if you're opting for compound movements like the deadlift and the squats and the bench press, the shoulder press, the barbell rows. These are exercises that are super good. They're wonderful companions when it comes to building muscle, when it comes to losing weight. And the reason as to why is simply because they burn a lot of calories. It's hard. It's not easy to squat. It's not easy to deadlift 200 pounds. It's not easy to do these things. It's not even easy to give your, you don't have to give your best, but it's not easy to do the bench press or barbell rows. It's not easy, and it burns a lot of calories. You're involving many muscles. It's not only your lungs that are working or your legs. It is that muscle that you're targeting and probably 2 to 3 other muscles that are involved in this movement. So weight training is really the thing that is going to push you forward, especially compound movements. A workout routine that consists of compound movements, mainly of compound movements. So instead of spending hours upon hours doing cardio training, focus on maintaining muscle mass by eating a lot of protein. About 2 grams per kilogram is what you could just do right now. Very simple, just eat 2 grams of protein per kilogram and see how it works. If you feel, hey, that's a lot of protein, I can't eat as much, then just reduce it a little bit. Or look at your diet and see from which nutrition sources you get your protein. If it's super hard, chances are you don't need as much protein. The science has shown that we don't need as much protein as we used to think. So just eat about 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight and focus on getting stronger in the gym. There are a lot of people that are going to tell you, hey, you can't get stronger while you're on a caloric on a calorie reduced diet, but that's simply not true. Especially if you're starting out with weightlifting, if you're starting out with going to the gym, focusing on compound movements, you can get stronger even while you're eating not a big amount. So focus on getting stronger and focus on maintaining the weights that you're already pushing in the gym if you can. And if you don't go to the gym, if you don't do cardio, if you are not doing any exercise, then just focus on doing the right things in the kitchen. Focus on things that you can control, like intermittent fasting, high quality nutrition sources, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for now. There's a lot to say, so I still have a lot to say about this topic, so just stay tuned for the next videos. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And what I would like to ask you is, what have you done to lose weight? What has worked? What has not? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright. Thank you so much for watching. So let me know what you have done to lose weight, what you have tried to lose weight. Let me know what you're focusing on right now. What is the thing that you're focusing on right now? Is it building muscle? Is it improving your cognitive performance by, reducing sugar, managing your blood sugars? Or is it, maybe that's just me right now, but maybe it is something completely different. Something different. Just let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to read your comments and respond to them. And thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great week, and see you next week.